Greetings my fellow freaks and weirdos, I'm Tom and welcome to Monster Gab, where we love to talk about all things horror. And in today's episode we're going to be talking about Barbarian, released in 2022, written and directed by Zach Kreger. I don't like to give away spoilers on this channel, but it's very difficult to talk about this particular movie without doing so. Therefore, this review may appear pretty vague and incomplete. Anyone who has seen this film will notice that I'm leaving quite a lot out and barely covering anything. A bit pointless you might say, but the reality is I watched Barbarian just recently and enjoyed it enough to at least recommend it. The movie stars Georgina Campbell and Bill Skarsgård. They're not the only cast members in this movie, but I prefer not to say any more than that. So here is the synopsis then. Tess, played by Georgina Campbell, has a job interview in the morning, so has booked a rental house close by in a very sketchy looking neighbourhood. She arrives late in the evening to find the home is double booked and already occupied by someone else, Keith, played by Bill Skarsgård. It's late, dark, raining, and after attempting to contact the owner of the rental home with no success, Keith convinces Tess to spend the night alone with this stranger, far away from home. Can she trust him? Just how safe is she? Let's talk about this movie then, and once again, if you have seen this movie, you will notice that I've left a huge chunk of the story out in my synopsis. And if you haven't seen this movie yet, do yourselves a favour, avoid any spoilers and trailers if you can, and dive feet first into this film. All I will say is that's how I approach this movie, and let me tell you, it really does derail into something else. It really wasn't what I was expecting. The characters in Barbarian are very interesting in my opinion. All of them. The character of Tess, played by Georgina Campbell, is in a very desperate situation, and you really do feel her anxiety of having to share a home with a complete stranger. Little things like refusing a drink that Keith offers or prepares shows a great level of mistrust, which is totally understandable considering her circumstance. I especially liked the character of Keith, and Bill Skarsgård does an incredible job of playing this role. He's very understanding of Tess's situation and does everything he can to make her feel safe and welcome. He offers to use the couch so Tess can use the one and only bedroom, and he takes no offence in the fact that Tess won't drink anything that he's prepared. He even offers Tess a glass of wine and opens the bottle in front of her to show that he hasn't tampered with it. He does all that he can to gain her trust. One would say a true gentleman, but in a movie like this, that's usually a red flag. I'll say no more. You can't help but feel like you are in the shoes of Tess during this movie, and despite Keith's charms and good manners, the whole vibe is just uncomfortable. There does come a point where Tess warms up to Keith, but as an audience member, you are still weary. For instance, a scene where Tess is about to go to bed and Keith is in the bedroom with her, wishing her good night, is just awkward. Is a romantic fling about to happen, or some unwanted attention perhaps, or worse, or just nothing? Well, you'll have to watch to find out for yourselves. There is some very nice camera work in this movie, especially later on in the film where we see a flashback taking place during the 1980s. I'm not sure if a fisheye lens is used or a wide angle lens during this segment, but the whole image just feels a bit distorted, especially with a change to the aspect ratio, which gives it a whole kind of retro vibe. As for the music in this film, it's got a fairly decent soundtrack, I'd say, but as for the score, it's that very typical modern low rumbling bass and hums that you get in horror movies these days, but it gets the job done. Now, as I've mentioned a couple of times now, there is a lot more to this movie that I would love to discuss with you, and I do apologise for not going into the plot any further. Some of you may even say that I haven't really covered the movie at all, which is totally understandable, and this is normally the part of the episode where I would do my pros and cons bit, but again, to avoid any spoilers, I'm going to leave that section out. All I will say is Barbarian doesn't particularly do anything original in my opinion, but what it does do, it does well. There is a backstory that I found lacking in parts, some unrealistic moments, and a few plot holes here and there. But overall, the movie was fun, unnerving, entertaining, and managed to hold my attention all the way through. And so, scoring this movie out of 10, I'm giving Barbarian a 7 out of 10. A worthy watch, and I do recommend it. So guys, have you seen Barbarian? And if so, what did you think of it? Please do let me know in the comments section down there. And please try to avoid giving away any spoilers too. I just think it's fun for anyone who hasn't seen the movie yet. And if you haven't seen the movie yet, are you willing to watch it now that you've seen this review? Again, please do let me know in the comments section. Anyway guys, that is all we've got time for in this episode, and until next time. I don't know who they are, but if you don't subscribe, they will get you. So make sure you are indeed subscribed. Click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any new videos here on Monster Gab. Like the video if you did indeed like it, and share this with your friends. Leave that comment down there, and thank you so much for stopping by. Take care, see you soon, bye bye.